Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that most of us overlook, the quiet ways God tries to get our attention before it's too late. You see, not every warning comes with a storm. Sometimes it's that uneasy feeling you ignore. Sometimes it's the silence after all your plans fall apart. And sometimes it's the peace you feel after walking away from something you thought you needed. If you've been feeling disconnected, restless, or unsure about what God is trying to tell you, stay with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll start recognizing those quiet signs for what they really are: divine protection, not punishment. Sometimes God doesn't shout. He doesn't send a thunderstorm or shake the ground beneath your feet. Sometimes He simply whispers. And if your life feels a little heavier than usual, a little more confusing, a little off, maybe it's not just coincidence. Maybe it's a quiet warning before it's too late. The truth is, God rarely sends loud alarms. He works in quiet moments, small shifts, little nudges in your spirit that tell you something isn't right. But when we're distracted, busy, or stubbornly chasing our own plan, we miss those whispers. We call them bad days. We call them weird feelings. But they're often divine alerts, God trying to get our attention before we drift too far. Sometimes His protection looks like discomfort. Sometimes His warning feels like delay. And sometimes His no is the greatest yes you'll ever receive. You just won't see it until you look back. If you've been feeling restless, uncertain, or spiritually distant lately, stay with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll start to see that God has probably been speaking to you all along. You just didn't realize it. There are moments when life seems fine on the outside, but something deep inside starts to feel off. You can't explain it. Nothing specific happened, but the peace you once had feels different. It's the still, small voice inside you saying, "Pay attention." When your spirit feels uneasy in places that used to bring joy, it's not random, it's revelation. God uses discomfort to move you before destruction can reach you. Then there's silence. Not just the kind where you don't hear God, but the kind where everything that once made sense suddenly doesn't. Your plans fall flat. Your prayers feel unanswered. You're doing what you always did, but the spark is gone. That silence isn't absence. It's correction. It's God pulling you out of noise so you can finally hear what He's been trying to say. He doesn't always stop you with walls. Sometimes He stops you with emptiness, so you'll stop filling it with distractions. You might notice people shifting around you too. Someone you trusted becomes distant. A friend who once felt like family suddenly feels like a stranger. Conversations that used to flow now feel forced. That's not betrayal. That's a boundary. God removes the voices that no longer align with your next season. Because sometimes the warning isn't about danger. It's about direction. He knows who can go where you're going and who can't. And then there's the way your plans start falling apart for no logical reason. You've done everything right. You've planned everything perfectly. But doors keep closing. Opportunities vanish. People cancel. It feels unfair, frustrating, and confusing. But that's often God saying, "Not this way." What looks like delay is often divine protection. Sometimes He'll let something crumble because it was built on your will, not His. You'll think you lost your chance, but what you really lost was the chance to lose yourself. Another quiet warning is emotional exhaustion, the kind that doesn't go away even after rest. You sleep, but you wake up tired. You laugh, but it doesn't feel the same. You're functioning, but you're not fulfilled. It's God telling you, You're carrying too much of what isn't yours. You've been trying to be everyone's answer, but you've forgotten your own peace. When you're constantly drained, it's not a sign to push harder. Sometimes the warning comes through repetition. The same pattern, the same pain, the same type of person, over and over again. You promise yourself it'll be different next time, but it ends the same way. That's not coincidence. That's curriculum. God will keep reintroducing the same lesson until you learn it. It's not punishment, it's mercy. Because He'd rather repeat the pain of a lesson than watch you live the pain of a lifetime mistake. You might even notice sudden peace after walking away from something you were scared to leave. That peace isn't relief, it's confirmation. You'll feel lighter, clearer, freer, even if it hurts. That's how God says, you did the right thing. Sometimes the calm after the storm is His quiet applause. There's also the way your blessings start to feel heavy. The job you once prayed for now drains you. The relationship you once begged for now confuses you. The dream you chased starts to feel empty. That's not ungratefulness. That's God showing you that what once fed you no longer fits you. Growth can make old blessings feel like burdens. And when it does, it's time to realign, not retreat. Then there are divine delays, the moments when everything slows down. The promotion you expected doesn't come. The opportunity you were ready for gets postponed. Everyone else seems to be moving, but you're stuck. That's not rejection, that's recalibration. God slows you down so you don't crash into what isn't ready yet. He's not withholding your blessing. He's making sure you're prepared to handle it. And perhaps the most painful warning of all is inner conviction. That deep, unshakable feeling that something you're doing isn't right. You justify it. You silence it. You tell yourself it's not that bad. But the unease won't go away. That's not guilt. It's grace. It's God saying, I love you too much to let you stay here. When you ignore conviction, you drift further from peace. But when you surrender to it, you step into transformation. God doesn't want to scare you. He wants to save you. His warnings are not about fear. They're about freedom. They're reminders that He sees what you can't, and He's guiding you away from what could break you. You might think you're losing control, but really, you're being rescued. You see, the enemy loves comfort. He loves routine, pride, and distraction because they make you too numb to notice when you're drifting. But God interrupts your comfort for a reason. He shakes things up, not to punish you, but to wake you up. The restlessness you feel is a sacred alarm clock. The silence you hear is a divine reset. And the resistance you face is not proof you're off track. It's proof you're growing. Maybe lately, your life's been filled with interruptions, things not going your way, plans failing, people walking away. Don't rush to fix it. Sit with it. God doesn't waste pain. He repurposes it. Every closed door is a conversation. Every delay is a direction. Every heartbreak is a hint. He'll whisper through your emotions. That sudden heaviness when something feels wrong, or that instant peace when you know something is right. He'll speak through timing, when something that should have happened doesn't, or something that shouldn't have worked suddenly does. He'll warn you through weariness, through repetition, through that nagging feeling in your gut that refuses to be silenced. When you start feeling those things, don't just brush them off. Pause, breathe, pray, because every time you listen to that inner nudge, you shorten the distance between confusion and clarity. Every time you ignore it, you extend the lesson. God doesn't punish silence, He patiently waits for recognition. Sometimes the people closest to you will sense it too. They'll say, "You seem different lately." They'll notice your joy fading. They'll feel your energy shifting. Don't ignore those reflections. Sometimes God uses the eyes of others to show you what you can't see in yourself. And sometimes it's not people or pain. It's just stillness. That unexplainable moment where everything feels paused. The conversation ends, the project stops, the opportunity disappears, and you're left in the quiet. That's the space where God speaks loudest. But you have to be willing to listen without filling the silence. He might be warning you that the relationship isn't healthy, that the deal you're about to make isn't aligned, that the thing you're chasing isn't His best for you. And if you ignore those whispers, the lessons will get louder. First, He'll nudge your heart. Then, He'll close a door. Then, He'll shake your plans. And if you still don't listen, He'll remove your peace, not to hurt you, but to help you finally stop. When God removes your peace, it's never random. It's the clearest sign that something is off. Peace is your compass. If you lose it, don't keep walking. Pause and ask why. The absence of peace is not punishment. It's protection. It's God saying, something here isn't right. And the moment you acknowledge that, clarity starts to return. You'll start to see it in small ways. The same conversation repeating with different people. The same red flag appearing in new situations. The same lesson disguised in different seasons. That's how you know it's not life being unfair. It's God being patient. He's trying to teach you something vital before you move forward. Sometimes, He'll even warn you through someone else's story. You'll watch what they're going through and feel a strange connection to it. It's not gossip, it's guidance. God shows you examples so you can learn from their path instead of repeating their pain. And then, there are those random moments that don't make sense. A sudden cancellation, a missed bus, a conversation you overheard, an uneasy dream that lingers. Pay attention. The spiritual world is always communicating. But few are still enough to listen. Every detour has divine detail. Every pause carries purpose. If you're in a season where things aren't adding up, don't panic. Ask, what are you showing me, God? Because sometimes His protection feels like loss. His delay feels like rejection. But every time He withholds something, we live in a world that glorifies noise, hustle, speed, progress. But divine warnings live in quiet spaces. The moments you sit with your thoughts, the seconds before you react, the stillness before you make a choice. That's when heaven leans in. That's when grace whispers, don't go that way. You'll never regret listening to peace, but you'll always regret ignoring it. The times you said, I knew something was off, weren't coincidences. That was God speaking before it was too late. When He warns you, it's because He loves you. He wants you free, fulfilled, and faithful. That's why He'll disturb your comfort to save your calling. You may lose people, you may lose opportunities, but you will never lose what's meant for you when you obey His voice. So if you've been feeling uneasy lately, if you've been losing sleep, losing peace, losing motivation, pay attention. If your plans keep collapsing, if your spirit feels heavy, if your joy feels distant, pay attention. That's not bad luck. That's divine love. God is whispering, come back, recenter, realign. Because when you ignore the whispers, life gets loud. But when you obey them, life gets clear. And maybe that's why you're hearing this message today, not by chance, but by calling. Maybe you've been praying for a sign, and this is it. Maybe God's been trying to reach you quietly, and He just needed this moment to get through. He's not angry with you. He's patient with you. He's not disappointed in you. He's waiting for you. He's been guiding, guarding, and gently warning you because He knows what's ahead. Sometimes the miracle isn't that God saves you from the storm. It's that He warns you before it begins. The whisper you feel right now, the one that says something has to change, that's not fear. That's divine direction. Don't wait for everything to fall apart before you move. Listen while it's still quiet. And when you start listening, something powerful happens. Your peace returns. Your clarity sharpens. Your path lights up again. Because obedience always brings alignment. You start walking lighter. You start hearing clearer. And you begin to realize God never stopped speaking. You just finally stopped rushing. So if you're still here, I believe this message found you for a reason. God is warning you, not to frighten you, but to free you. He's saying, I need you to slow down, to listen, to trust me more than your plan. Because the truth is, He loves you too much to let you miss your destiny. He'll interrupt your plans, close your doors, and silence your noise, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You're not being delayed. You're being delivered. Stay close, stay alert, stay faithful. The quiet moments matter more than you think.